One of the popular ones you've done is care.com. Can you speak about that a little bit?
Yeah, so care.com was a company I wrote about in college that got a lot of attention and kind of put me on the map and allowed me to build a Twitter following, which I then used to launch my newsletter. Care.com was my first big campaign against a bad company, and it's a really funny story. Care.com was the largest babysitting platform in the US. I heard from a friend who was a babysitter on there that, hey, you should look into this platform. It's kind of sketchy. I don't think they're vetting the babysitters like they claim to be doing. I knew it was $1 billion publicly traded company. So I'm like, perfect, let me dig into this. And, I just started Googling and, there was just all these safety instances where like a babysitter who'd been like arrested on a drug conviction was hired on care.com, or like babysitters with DUIs were hired through care.com. And I'm like, this is a little odd since the company claims to be vetting people. Let me check it out for myself. So I go to care.com's website and I apply to be a babysitter, but I apply as Harvey Weinstein. I use Harvey Weinstein's image. I use his name. I make up a social security number, make up an address, make up this whole fake profile for Harvey Weinstein on care.com. And I go through the application process. I check a box saying they can run a background check. And at the end, they're like, we got your application. We'll get back to you within a week on whether or not you're approved. I'm like, there's no way they approve me. This is obviously a fake account. They say they're running a background check. No, I am approved. 1 week later, I'm approved. I'm on the platform. I made a fake Facebook account and I'm listed as like a trusted babysitter with the second highest level of authenticity. And I'm like, there's a major problem here. They're saying they're running background checks, but they're not. And I read a lot of lawsuits against them. And I found instances where like care.com babysitters have killed kids. And they had prior criminal histories. And parents could pay more for background checks to care.com. And those background checks wouldn't have had obviously like fake accounts. And it was just a complete mess because if you're a babysitting platform, safety is the number one issue. So I published a little report on them on Twitter. It goes viral. It gets a little attention. And the company decides to call Stanford, my college, to try to get me in trouble. And Stanford, Charlie, a bunch of like alums were on care.com's board, and I'm sure there were donors. There's some dark magic going on. Stanford then called me into the dean's office, and they're like, you need to take this report down. You violated our Wi-Fi policy by impersonating Harvey Weinstein. This is an ethics violation. This is very serious. And I just refused to take it down. And I continued to criticize the company. I filed FOIA requests with every state attorney general for consumer complaints against the company. I sent it to a ton of reporters. And to make a long story short, 9 months later, the Wall Street Journal runs a front page story on safety issues at care.com. They cite me and my report, and I get a little mention in the Wall Street Journal. And the CEO, CFO, and general counsel all resign. The company stock falls more than 50%, and it ends up sold to IAC, which did implement proper safety practices. And that got me some attention on Twitter, and gave me a little bit of credibility in the marketplace, which then allowed me my senior year to launch my newsletter and get people to sign up.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great story, and that really proves you can find short ideas anywhere. And who knows what would happen if they were still a public company.